Hey everybody, welcome back to Moto Photo Adventures, and today we're going to do something just a little bit off the beaten path. Every year, my wife and I come up to the Elkin, Boonville, Yadkinville area to visit family for Thanksgiving, and she and I take an afternoon or something and we walk around and see something new, maybe a winery or an antique shop or whatever. But this time was a little bit different. We walked through the doors of a shop over here and we're passing by the saw blades and the VHS tapes and the keys and the spectacles and all of the things that were downstairs, and I turned left and saw a green set of stairs which led me up to a very unique artist's loft. I want to take you upstairs.
Let's sit outside, take a motorcycle ride across the beautiful countryside.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you one of the most unique and prolific artists that I have found in this area on a trip to North Carolina. This is Jeffrey Walker, and I will take you on a little tour on all of his walls and everything, but the stuff that caught my eye were all of these figurines that are sitting behind me right here. Every single one of these is an individual, unique, one of a kind. When did you start getting into art at all?
Pretty much in a young age.
A young age?
Pretty much kindergarten.
Yep.
As I love to draw pretty much during class, pretty much all the time.
So you were the guy with the head down in the notebook while the teacher was teaching something that may help us, supposedly help us when we get old, right?
Yep.
Yep. So when you were doing all of those drawings in the notebook and things, were you already looking at making specific characters, or did that come a little bit more difficult later?
Usually it was focused mainly on different things around that I was interested in, like trains, mechanical things, cars, and then pretty much characters came a little bit later.
Okay.
Pretty much, I believe, 6th to 7th grade.
Great. You were doing cars?
Yes.
And figures and animals. I see there's animals, dogs and wolf and a rooster and some dragons and all kinds of stuff around here. But I see that most of the things are people and figures and
Yes.
cartoons and anime type of stuff.
Yes.
When did you start getting into that?
That was usually around the 6th grade when I discovered animation.
Mm-hmm.
And animation rudimentarily, or very basically,
Yep.
on a Palm Pilot.
Okay.
So it was very bare bones,
Mm-hmm.
to where you draw one thing, go to the next slide, draw the next thing, and then...
So you were already doing animation almost right off the rip. As
Pretty
soon as you
much.
figured it out that
Yes.
it was a picture and then a picture and then a picture, you were
Yes.
off to the races.
Pretty much, it's
Yeah.
like the very first animation I ever did was literally a bomb dropping on a ship and sinking.
Just like a six-year-old boy or sixth-grade-year-old boy. You got to go to the violence right off the bat. So it's cars and it's bombs. Got it. So when did then you transfer over to start making all of these drawings for these individual characters? And what is that world you were building?
So the characters are actually in a very wide range of era of time. So my very first character was called Samurai Juno.
Samurai Juno?
Mhm.
Okay.
And Samurai Juno was a Japanese-esque character, but I put a little bit of a twist on it
Mm-hmm.
to pretty much say it's like I'm interested in Japanese and like the whole samurai and others.
The history of that and,
Yes.
and the real world of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you I would assume started reading some stuff and looking at pictures that were done in that style and modifying it to your own.
Yes.
Cool. And what was it a drawing or was it a figurine that you started with, the Samurai Juno?
It was pretty much all drawings,
Mhm.
pretty much back then. The
Okay.
only thing with these ceramic figures,
Yeah.
these were only done when I was in college.
Oh, I see. Okay, where did you go to college?
Surrey Community.
So you didn't start actually putting clay figures together until you were in college?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it was a brand new medium for you once you turned into an adult, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And so did you do any other kind of figures or any other kind of clay projects, or did you stick with the figures?
Mainly during the class you had your specific or your run-of-the-mill projects.
Right.
Like,
The daily stuff.
yes.
Yeah.
Bowls, plates.
Right.
different things
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
And pretty much these ceramic figures were side projects of the projects that I would finish.
Uh-huh.
So after I would finish one set of projects, I would start creating models
Okay.
or the figures.
Uh-huh.
And the next one would be finish another project, work on something completely different.
Okay.
So it would be, instead of working on a figure, it would be working on like a car,
Mm-hmm.
a very rough car. But it was always something interesting and fun to do back in the college days.
Gotcha. Okay. I also noticed, and I'm going to come back to the figures
Yes.
because I'm here to get one. Right. But I want to also talk about the record players because that takes up a lot of real estate in here, and we can't not just go by it without saying something, because every single one of these record players you built from scratch, and they're all in chests and strange, of housing units, and tell me a little bit about how you got into building those.
So the record players were actually a creation of a necessity.
Okay.
My friend gave me a suitcase record player, which was a Crosley Walmart
Okay.
run-of-the-mill suitcase record player, but I only had 78 RPM records.
Right.
So the record album that I had was a 1928 opera by them called the Mikado. And pretty much I would just play one record and work around stuff in the shop.
Right.
And it was okay, but I wanted to actually play it and close the lid so if anything dropped, it wouldn't damage it.
Oh, okay.
So I decided, let's try to do something like that instead of using a small suitcase box. Let's make something a little bit larger.
Mm-hmm.
And my very first one was actually, you wouldn't be able to see it, but it's underneath the cutter.
Okay.
So it's the first trunk that I was considering using.
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty much this one on the floor here is actually the very first prototype for it.
Okay.
And after I did the initial build of it, I wanted to try to improve it.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly but surely, it's like I said, okay, we can make this do this, add some chains here, add a pull knob here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point to where it's like, let me see if I can do this with another one.
Right.
And then I did it with the other one. It's like, let's try a different one.
Okay.
And it slowly came into a collection of different foot lockers and steamer trunks.
Awesome. So it first started out as just a utility,
Yes.
something just to use, and then it morphed itself into art.
Mhm.
Because I see one over there at up on the top. You have a floor register as the speaker box. It looks like.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just absolutely fascinating. And this is the one that you made, the prototype, the very first one that was just going to be utility,
Yes.
and then you put it in the steamer trunk so that you would have a lid.
Yes.
Oh, nice. What do you call it? Do you have names? Do you have names for each one of these?
Well, this one is a phonograph.
Uh-huh.
So it's made from a 1915 Victrola phonograph. So normally when I decide to make one of these,
Yeah.
at least in this regard, the phonograph has to be in a functioning state that is not perfect. So in this case, when I purchased it, it would only run for about 20 seconds.
Nice. And then here are some more. A functioning microphone. Oh shoot, you got the whole catalog down here.
Oh yeah.
Are these your drawings or the figure or corresponding to the figurines?
Yes.
To the figurines. We've covered all of the things that we can see with our eyes here.
Yes.
So what I would like to do is I would like to tell you a little bit about me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want you to pick me out one. Based on your character, their personality that you've designed, the clothes that they're wearing, whatever. I want you to find me one that matches me. I don't want to pick out one that just, that looks cool. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I want you to give me the backstory on this little guy. All right.
Yes.
So I was in the military. I ride a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
I take photographs. I'm a photographer and a videographer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm married, got 2 kids. My dad was a preacher. My mom was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are the highlights.
Okay.
So you now tell me which one matches me and why.
Let's see. There are a. This is gonna take a little bit.
That's okay. Take your time.
I would probably say.
All right. Let me show the camera real close. All right. Tell me about this one.
That character is named General Iana.
General Iana. All right. We're going to have to write that down for me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And tell me about who he is. Because this is perfect.
in the series, or in the game, he is the leader of a faction called the Reaper Federation. Yes, the Reaper Federation.
Reaper Federation. And he's the general?
Yes.
And so I'm assuming leads an army.
Yes.
So that takes care of my military, right? Right? That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Oh, there's on the bottom. Cool. Well, dude, that's fantastic. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
What is the name of your shop? What is the name of your art?
The art shop is called Demos Art Loft.
DEMO apostrophe S, Demos Art Loft.
Yes.
And you gave me a card that said Fate something. What's your Instagram?
Instagram is Fate Demo 22.
Fate Demo 22. Fate Demo 22 on Instagram. And Demos Art Loft here in Elkin, North Carolina. It has absolutely been a pleasure.
Indeed.
Let's head outside and take a motorcycle ride across the beautiful countryside.